Welcome to Altitude Advantage. I am your host and team reporter, Elisa Hernandez. Across the table, we have our lead writer on DenverBroncos.com, Aric DiLalla. Week 1 is here, and the game preview episode is also here. We're very excited to talk just about the expectations for Sunday, some big news that came down the wire and some instant reaction from that, and so much more as we get ready to kick off this new episode of Altitude Advantage. And Aric, in the spirit of me going to the team store.
Great, I like your hat.
Thank you.
Where can someone get that hat?
Well, I brought you some. I went a little crazy. Don't get mad at me.
I don't know if the camera has been allowed to switch to me yet, but my hair looks nice today. I'm not putting a hat on.
You know, it's so nice, but this is just for you to look at. Look,
price tags.
You know what? Because I went to the team store and I was like, throw it in the bag. And like all of our listeners know that every time I go, I make sure I buy a lot of stuff.
Are these all for sale?
Yes. So, guys, you guys can always go to the team store. These are the newest hats from New Era. And if you're watching on YouTube, Aric is demonstrating them very nicely. And every week we will have an item of the week at the team store, not on the podcast, maybe on the podcast, but definitely at the team store. There's a new item of the week, and this is from New Era. Just so many selections that you guys can pick from. We're not gonna showcase all of them, but this bag is for you, Aric. I got this for you.
Okay, thank you. This one is kind of like a.
Let's see. I can show it for you. I can show it for the fans.
That one's kind of a like a. I don't know what fabric it is, but it's almost like what a
swishy,
like a tent bag would be made out of. You know what I mean? Like it's not a.
That is an interesting way to.
Let's see what it says.
That's an interesting
way. It's like polyester. Yeah, there you go. So I was right on with the tent.
Yeah.
Ben Swanson would wear this.
Ben Swanson would wear this hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll leave these up here.
This one, nice. Our old friend Reed Conant would wear.
Yeah.
This one's like.
Do you remember what those are called?
Beige.
Dad hats.
This is not a dad.
It is
because of the. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's talk football.
Let's talk football. But you know what? You look good. You feel good. You talk good. And you give good analysis. That was my theory behind wearing my new hats.
I like yours. Yours is the nicest one of the ones that I've seen. There's a whole bag full. After the show, maybe I'll see the rest of them.
Yes. Well, again, guys, you guys can go to the team store for all the latest gear. And there's a new item of the week every week on there. So shout out to a New Era for all these amazing hats. But yes, so as we kick off this preview episode, a lot of big news, a lot of instant reaction. I'm going to kick it over to you because the people want to hear from our lead writer. And I've also been on camera for like 10 minutes at this point.
That's okay. That's nice for you. That's exciting. But yeah, it's time to talk about Nik Bonitto.
Let's go.
Casa Bonitto.
Yes.
4-year extension. Mm-hmm. Huge news. Really exciting that Nik Bonitto is in Broncos country for the foreseeable future. This is a guy that deserves this, right? He had a big season last year, 13.5 sacks, game-changing plays all the time. He had a strip sack against the Raiders that iced the game. He had the defensive touchdown against Jameis Winston and the Browns that gave the Broncos a big lead there near halftime. He, of course, had that play against the Indianapolis Colts to really seal a win over Indy that ended up being critical in Denver's playoff hopes. Yeah. This is a guy that I thought made just such a remarkable jump a season ago, and I believe he had 8 sacks in 2023. It was a nice step for him after year 1, but then to break out the way he did a year ago, become an elite player, become one of the league's top young pass rushers. This was a guy you wanted to make sure was on your side for years to come. So very well deserved for Nik Bonitto, a guy who I think has gotten better against the run as his career has gone along, has always had that knack for game-changing plays. And listen, when he came out of college, out of Oklahoma, there were some comparisons to Von Miller in terms of the bend. And listen, what Von did here was obviously unprecedented, unmatched. He's the all-time leader in sacks in Denver, a Super Bowl MVP. A long way to go for Nik Bonitto from that standpoint. But I think you do see, just from how Nik Bonitto plays the game, those types of traits, those types of athletic moves, that bend. I think back to last year in Kansas City, like the tackle couldn't touch him because of the way that he's bending and able to get to Mahomes so fast. This is a guy that, and I sound a little bit like Chris Collinsworth here. I'm like, this is a guy, I keep saying that. Love Chris. Chris is tremendous. Yes. But Nik Bonitto, I feel like if you are going to be a team that pushes for a Super Bowl, pushes for a division title, you need great quarterback play. You need a great corner. You need some weapons on offense to step up. but you need that elite edge rusher that on third down in the fourth quarter, when the game is on the line, that can make a game-changing play. Nik Bonitto, to me, feels like that type of guy. And listen, it's just, we'll talk more about it. It's just the latest example of the Broncos doing things the right way from an extension standpoint. We just saw Micah Parsons get traded from Dallas to Green Bay at the end of a difficult contract negotiation. And the Broncos in the last, month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I've lost track of time. They've extended Nik Bonitto, Zach Allen, Cortland Sutton. A year ago, they extended Pat Surtain and Quinn Miners before they went into their fourth seasons.
Jonathan Cooper got it.
Cooper, Garrett Bowles before he got to free agency. The Broncos and George Payton, especially, and his team there in the front office, and obviously Sean Payton identifies, hey, which guys do we want here? The Walton Penner Family Ownership Group, you can't discount their commitment to doing things the right way, but there has not been drama. There has not been back and forth bickering through the media. It's just been kind of quiet, and there wasn't a lot of noise around this extension, right?
Yeah.
Like we knew that after I think Allen was extended, Sean Payton mentioned this might be the next one. Nik Bonitto was asked about it and said, hey, listen, I want to be here. Things are going well. The market is good for edge rushers right now, but there was never any of this. Like they just kind of went about their business and got it done. And there's something to be said for you draft, you develop, and then before you get to me, things get messy when the season ends and the guy's not under contract.
Yeah.
And they can go into free agency. And DJ Jones this past year was one of the few guys, it happens sometimes, but where they go into free agency and then you're still able to work something out and bring them back. And it's kind of a pleasant surprise when that happens.
Yeah.
But when you do things the year before, or in the case of Pat Surtain, it was 2 years before his contract ended, that makes it so that things don't get contentious. The player's not upset. The team's not upset.
Yeah.
Doesn't cause a distraction where players are, holding out or skipping training camp. Plus, from a financial standpoint, the team often ends up with a better deal, and the player gets financial security earlier. And so you wonder why more teams don't operate in this manner.
Yeah.
But the Broncos now have built this really impressive core around Bo Nix, who's on a rookie contract, which helps and makes you able to do some of these things from a financial standpoint. And that's not even talking about there is still some dead cap this year that the Broncos will get rid of after this year. So it's only going to be probably a little bit better from a financial standpoint next year. But listen, this kind of signifies you're in this window. You've got these players that are worth committing to. I mean, Elisa, I know to you, this is probably yeah, of course, this is what they do. They extend players all the time, right?
This is what I'm used to. This is what I've seen.
And they do Surtain, they do Miners, and they do Cooper. They do
It's
Bowles,
my first week here, and they extended Surtain. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, but I can tell you from being here the last 10 seasons that there was a stretch where it wasn't like this, and a lot of guys didn't get to second contracts. And obviously there were exceptions, the Bowles, the Sutton, but the Simmonses of the world, but there are a bunch of guys that didn't get to these second contracts. And so it shows you, one, just kind of where this roster is in terms of drafting and developing, that, we are finding guys like Bonitto, like Surtain, like Miners, like Cooper that are worth giving second contracts to. And then you're finding guys like Sutton and Bowles who are worth giving third contracts to. And your free agent additions and Zach Allen, you want to keep them around. That speaks to the scouting and then the coaching to develop those guys. That's not the case everywhere in the league. And so really impressive the Broncos were able to do that. And now you got a nice little group here. So exciting news.
Yeah.
And Nick, he's just such a, I really enjoy Nik Bonitto.
He's one of my favorites.
He's fun. He's he's
always has his
lighthearted.
headphones on. He's always in the zone. And when we went to the Pro Bowl, I was able to spend time with them on the field. Just seeing him experience that for the first time. It was his first time being a Pro Bowler, and him just being out there, and we're like, hey, Nick, do you want to do a vlog? He's like, yeah. And he grabs the mic and goes out and talks to the guys. We're like, hey, do you want to take pictures on disposable camera? He was like, hand it over. He was just really enjoying the moment because it is the fruits of his labor and what he's been able to do over the course of last season. And to me, he's one of my favorite guys because he's a big guy in trusting the process, I feel like. Why are you smiling? Are you just so happy that Nik Bonitto is here?
I like guys that like go to the Pro Bowl for the first time and they're just so excited. Like
he was so happy.
There's the innocence of like your first Pro Bowl, and I think guys always appreciate it. But the first time you're like, oh yeah, I want to do that. Like,
he went to Disneyland, he went to Universal Studios. He was like, I want to go everywhere, anything. But I think so much was said in what you were talking about, because I think the first thing I want to point out was we talked about this when Jonathan Cooper got extended, where we said this sends the message to your locker room that we are going to take care of our guys. If you trust the program, buy into the culture, and work hard, you will get rewarded. And then we talked about that with Jonathan Cooper when he got extended, of like, this is like a late round pick that they were able to develop, really make into a leader on this team, and now you re-sign. It sends that message to your locker room that like, we're going to get the deals done. Just do what we need you to do, showcase why we have you here and why we picked you, and everything will work out. And so when you have Zach Allen then get a deal, even when Nik Bonitto was asked about it, he was very confident. He was like, look, I trust them to do what we do. We have a good relationship. And I think the biggest thing that came out of his press conference when they were asking, reporters are trying to get whatever answers they can. But he was just like, look, I trust them. Like, there wasn't this like doubt or fear that you see with other players of like, I don't know what they're doing. And then like you mentioned, the drama. And any guy that's been extended, even Cortland, it was very like, I trust our front office. I trust that they have our best interests of the team. And I believe that I'm doing what I need to do to be a vital asset to this team. So it's going to work out. It was almost like they felt like there's no situation where it's not, because we've been put in positions on this team with Sean Payton and with the weapons put around us to create a continuity, to create a bond that really isn't going to break. And I think when you have a guy like Nik Bonitto being signed who came in, I remember when he was drafted, I was still working at the league, and I was excited about what he was, what his career was going to be. And so to see him have the season that he had, there were only two other players that had more sacks than him last season. I believe it was Myles Garrett and Hendrickson from the Bengals. Those are the only two players that had more sacks than Nik Bonitto last year. So I think when you're in that pedigree of guys and you're racing to be the NFL sack leader, I feel like now he's even more motivated to do that. And I think the guys around him being locked in and knowing like, we're going to be together for a long time, guys, so let's get comfortable with how dominant we can be in this defense.
Yeah, he was a guy, and I think the next question is like, okay, well, what's next for Nik Bonitto, right? Because
already, huh? Like,
yeah, like that's always it. Like, what's next? What's next? And I think Nik Bonitto has the talent, has the potential to be a defensive player of the year type guy, to be the NFL sack leader. Like, those are the types of things that you watch Nik Bonitto play, and you see that. He wasn't even a starter at this point last year, before the year. And he not only earned a starting role, but he gave the Broncos enough confidence that they were able to trade Baron Browning to Arizona for future draft capital. He, proved it in terms of leading the team in sacks. I can't remember. I think he had the most sacks by anybody since maybe Vaughn in 18, if I remember properly.
And Vaughn is the guy that he looks up to for sure. He's said that to me before. Like, that's the guy that he definitely models his game after. So there's this constant motivation here, I feel like.
And one thing that stood out to me last year was, I think it was 7 games maybe, that he had at least half a sack in, or maybe a full sack. And it was like the consistency there.
Yeah.
And that's something that Vaughn used to do Vaughn would have the 2 or 3 sack games, and Bonitto showed the ability to do that as well. But it's also, can you make an impact no matter who you're playing week in and week out? That's important, I think, in this league. And when you're now playing with a team that has a lot of talent around you, like you've mentioned, with an offense that should take another step forward, when you're leading in games and you can tee off on quarterbacks in the fourth quarter, that's when you're going to add to your sack totals. And so it really wouldn't surprise me if you see Nik Bonitto like have 15, 16 sacks this year and be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, for the NFL sack lead. Like, that's how good he is. Yeah. And
that's how hard he's worked. Like, that's not something that was given to him either.
And that's a really good point. Like, after year one, he talked about, like, I got to get better. They brought in Jamar Cain, who I believe he worked with in college, and that really helped him. You saw a little bit of a jump before year 2. Year 3 last year, obviously, just took a tremendous leap. And so he's put in the work to get to this point. I know he's always had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder in terms of where he was drafted, end of the second round. Broncos were thrilled to get him at 64 back when they drafted him. But this is a guy, like, that was the first pick that George Paton had that draft was Nik Bonitto, and it came all the way at the end of the second round, and yet you're able to find a guy like Nik Bonitto, who was a second-team All-Pro, right? Didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I believe, did he make second-team All-Pro? He did, right?
Yeah.
So,
I know now he's like first team.
yeah, I mean, it should be. Like, that's a realistic target in my mind. There's a lot of good edge rushers in this league, but Bonitto's got the skill and the speed, and there are just some guys you watch and you're like, I can tell that this guy's special. And you watch Bonitto come off the line, how fast he is, and you can just tell he's special. Yeah. So yeah, really, really happy for Nik. Excited to see what's next. And man, what a pick! Like everybody talks about, George Paton slam dunk with the Surtain, ended up being Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think anybody would have guessed at that point that that's how good he would have been.
Right.
But in some ways, the Bonitto is almost more impressive. I don't know if that's possible, just because of like where
we need like a sound effect, like, hot take.
Where he was drafted. Yeah. Like Surtain was this sure thing prospect, and he's been amazing.
Yeah.
But like where you found Bonitto, for him to be this good, man, hat tip to George Paton and his team. So yeah, congrats to Nik, and that's as we're getting ready for week one, another, like, I don't want to say distraction because it didn't become a distraction, but like now you don't have to go into the season with people being like, ooh, is Bonitto going to hit free agency? Are they going to franchise him? Like what's going to go on there? It's just done, and it's taken care of. So hat tip to everybody involved.
No, I agree with that. And I think just seeing how happy the guys are for anyone that gets the contract. And I think like when Zach got his contract, like all the guys were so happy. Like I never felt or saw any kind of like, well, why isn't mine done? It was like, again, it's trust in the process of like, see, they took care of Coop, they took care of Zach, and I'm next in the queue to be taken care of. So I think for this deal to get done, I know Nik is happy. I know that he's even happier because he's like, I was right. I was right to trust it. I was right to believe that this was all going to be what it needed to be. And now you're such a big staple in this defense that everyone sees as going into the season as the best defense in the league. And we're obviously good enough that people are talking about them as they should. But you look at just the young core of this team. Like one thing that really stood out to me from Sean Payton's press conference was the fact that he just had like this glow, I would like to say. Because he mentioned, he's like, the goal is, have a good, play well, get a good, like win the division, have a good seed, play for a chance to win the Super Bowl. And in my head, I'm like, to him, it is that simple. And when he was being asked about it, he said, look, we're much farther than we were at this point last year. Last year, I was not talking like this because we didn't have everything set in place for us to do that. This year is different. And I feel, the guys resonate off that. Bo Nix had mentioned, like, it feels good when you have a head coach that believes in you like that. And it went from young and hungry and dangerous to now everyone knows that you are dangerous and you're hungrier. And now the young guys are a little more developed, but even the young guys coming in, they're buying into the fact that, the rookies last year made an impact. The bar was set. Let's pass that.
Yeah, and now you go into week one against the Tennessee Titans. Mm-hmm. Finally, a chance to see what it all looks like. We talked about that on
play another team
on Monday. Like, hey, it's finally time here. Yeah. We're going to talk about the keys to the game and all that, but at least I want to play a little game here. Ooh. If you're up for it. I want to, and this is a little bit of a hat tip to my friend Zach Stevens over at DNVR.
Oh, nice.
They like to do some drafts over there. And draft guys, but I didn't see them do this one. So we're gonna draft. We're gonna each pick 5 guys.
Okay.
That we can't wait to see this weekend.
Okay.
And listen, it can be a first-time guy. It could be a guy ready to take a step in year 2 or something. It could be Nik Bonitto. Mm-hmm. Lots of options there. I'll let you go first. That's how generous I am.
Oh, you're so thoughtful.
If you don't want to go first, I'll go first.
I feel like I'm going to steal one of yours. That's why. All right. The first guy that I am very excited to see this weekend is, I'm going to go with the young guy. I'm going to go with RJ Harvey. I'm excited to see RJ Harvey. Did I steal one of your guys?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I might have taken RJ Harvey later, but that was not going to be my first pick.
That was my first pick because
you don't get to go first for me.
Look, I was a rookie. I was
a depth chart. You're at the end of the depth chart.
Look, man, I was a rookie last year, okay, and I had to come out strong, and that's the faith that I have in RJ. No, I'm excited to see him because I saw so many glimpses of what he's able to do in training camp. And I think when you go back to the draft and talking about his vision and his mobility and the way he's able to cut, I can't wait to see that in a game. I can't wait to see him, even if it's just who knows how many reps and all that stuff. But like, I'm just excited to see him enjoy that moment for the first time. I'm a big part of, again, just coming into this league, making a team, knowing the vision that he has. That's the part I'm excited to see on the field. I'm also excited, and I'm also a sucker just for like, this is your first NFL game. So like, I know there comes with an intensity of that. Family's here, friends are here. You're stepping on this field for the first time as a professional football player. The excitement level of that, I think, adds to why picking a rookie, because you can't beat that moment. Having the home opener being week 1, I think is special. You're not starting off on the road. You're starting off right here in Broncos country. You're going to get a huge welcome in. And so for me, like that's probably one of my key guys that I have to go with. He's going to go number 1 because, why not?
Okay.
Why not?
I get a little bit of a surprise pick. I think with RJ, the thing is, like, how does this rotation work?
Yeah.
Right? Like with him, J.K. Dobbins, interested to see, Sean Payton has kind of hinted that maybe only 3 backs will be up for the game. Interested to see, like, is that Tyler Bidet? Is it Jaleel McLaughlin? How does that all work out?
I feel like I know who's going to be.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well, I wouldn't say it, but with RJ, like, is he a guy that, is he in on first and second down and JK's the third down back? How is RJ involved in the passing game? Those are all things that we'll kind of get to see.
Games,
so that's interesting to me. And then, like, he feels like a guy with his size that over the course of a game, he can wear teams down a little bit. So that with RJ Harvey, that for me is what I'll be looking for. A good pick. I don't know if it's high for a rookie.
Look, I'm saying I was
number 2 to be a rookie.
Look, man, I was a rookie and I got picked. So and I was here, and then bam,
beautiful. All right, with my number 1 pick, maybe you forgot he played for the team. Bo Nix.
That's such a gimme.
When in doubt,
that's such a gimme. I like taking risks. All right.
Bo Nix with my number 1 pick. This season, in so many ways, comes down to who is Bo Nix. How is he able to take the next step?
Yeah.
Can he elevate his game? Even if, in my opinion, like if he plays the way he did the last 10 weeks of the season, this team's going to be in really good shape. I think there's a leadership quality about him that guys are just drawn to. And Cortland Sutton said, basically, we know how hard Bo works. He pointed out that after practice on Wednesday, Bo's running wind sprints on the field all by himself after practice has ended. And they don't want to let Bo down. And then Bo is driven by this internal, I don't know if fear is the right word, but like he doesn't want to let other people down either.
Yeah.
And wants to be enough for them. And it just feels like this is a guy that could take that next step. And it doesn't mean that that's throwing for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns every week. I think we've seen kind of the way the NFL has shifted, that some of the touchdown totals and yardage totals have gone down across the league.
Yeah.
But I saw something from him last year against Cincinnati, for example, where late in the game, he takes charge and moves the team down the field at the end of regulation. I think you saw it in Kansas City with that potential game-winning drive that should have been a game-winning drive, right?
Yeah.
Like, those were moments from Bo Nix. And we've heard Sean Payton tell various media members that he could be a guy that's pushing to be a top 5 quarterback in the next couple of years. And depending on what rankings you look at, he's somewhere between like 12 and 20. In most, one had him at like 24 or something. Well, I'm not talking about that one. That one didn't make any sense. There were a lot of questionable ones on that one.
Okay.
But this is a guy that like has a chance to make a leap, and I cannot wait to see what he does in week 1. So really excited to see Bo Nix.
All right. That was kind of a game. That's why I didn't go with him.
Oh, it's my turn again. We do snake draft.
What?
Snake draft. That's how everybody.
You go again?
We did a fantasy football draft yesterday. Snake draft.
We did. I auto drafted because I was in the studio.
Oh.
I was in the studio. I didn't even look at my roster. I was like, you know what? I was like, I have to film.
On the waiver wire. Getting guys. This is tough because I gotta project like, what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah. Now I'm happy you're going.
This is tough. I'm debating between a couple of guys. I'm gonna go with Evan Engram.
All right. Fine.
For a lot of the same reasons as Bo Nix, Evan Ingram, pretty good start. This is a guy that dynamic in the passing game. Mm-hmm. The Broncos tight ends last year had games where they were valuable, they contributed. But Evan Ingram, I think, is a type of player that the Broncos haven't had the last few years. He's that true joker type player. And just like that game against, was it the Cardinals at home?
Cardinals.
Catch and run.
But and who scored the touchdown on that drive?
RJ Harvey. Yeah. No, listen, I can't draft a rookie first. Unless we were doing this last year, I would have picked Bo Nix.
Oh.
Quarterback's different. But Ingram, I think in space, his ability to make plays is just going to transform this offense, and it just open up. It helps so many different guys, whether it's the running game, whether it's Bo, whether it's Cortland on the outside. Like, there's a bunch of different guys that are going to benefit from Evan Ingram being on the field. I think he just gives them something different, and his volume in terms of how many passes he caught in Jacksonville, like this Broncos haven't had a guy that could be this productive from the tight end position in a long time. So I'm excited to see Evan Ingram. And again, we should be clear, we're not like drafting the top players, right? Like
we're just saying who we're excited to see. Yeah.
And so like I know what Cortland Sutton can do, right? Like but Evan Ingram, it's kind of like this. Okay, you've heard all offseason, joker.
And you got a taste of it in that game against the Cardinals. I mean, the way that he was able to extend plays, the way his surrounding unit was able to get key blocks for him to extend those plays. Like, that's what you want to see in game time.
So maybe a tub in his first game at Empower Field on High. He's like jacked up to play here.
Yeah,
he's excited.
He is.
And like, I know a lot of people they're excited to play at home, but he in particular
cannot wait.
He's really excited to play in front of this crowd. So
yeah, he can't wait. All right, well, I'm gonna stay on the offensive side. I'm gonna stay on the offensive side. I'm gonna go.
Don't do it to me.
Back to. I don't think I will. I think I. Who knows? Who knows?
Okay.
But obviously, I'm a USC Trojan, so I'm gonna go with Troy Franklin.
Troy was the other guy I was going to.
Troy Franklin.
Deciding between Evan and Troy.
Yeah, Troy Franklin is who I'm going to go with, even though he went to Oregon. But Troy is a guy that I cannot wait to see him make that next step. He had a great training camp. And just the effort and the ability he's been able to grow and kind of learn from Cortland and learn and understand, like, okay, I have to get on the same page with what I'm doing so that Bo can find me. And I'm really excited to see him be that deep threat. We saw a glimpse of that in the playoffs, and we saw moments of that of what could have been during the season, and no one was harder on himself than he was. And he even mentioned to me, like, when he changed his number, he's like, I feel more like me. Like, he's like changing my number, going to 11. He's like, I feel more comfortable. He was like, I'm working. He's like, and I want to be a guy that they rely on for those big plays. And when I talked to him about that, he said that was a really big focal point on everything he did this offseason. He's like, I want to be a guy that is trusted down the field. I don't want them to think that if they throw a deep pass to me, like, I'm not going to haul it in and create a big play. And I think when you get a taste of that moment, like you did in the playoffs, obviously striking first, that you want to recapture that every single week. So I'm excited to see him develop. He even mentioned, he's like, look, I'm a slimmer receiver, but I want to use that to my advantage in the way that I can. Similar to how Jaleel McLaughlin uses his to be kind of shifty, you know, and he's a different back in that sense. But I think for Troy to come in and be that deep threat for them, knowing that you're going to have another guy, you know, Marvin Mims and Cortland, is such a good, solid receiving core that the Broncos have here. But I think all last season we talked about that relationship between him and Bo Nix and that connection and how is that going to translate over. And I think you saw glimpses of that, and I'm excited to see that really come to fruition and have Troy have a good year. And I know that he's excited to come out here, and I know he's excited to make plays because he's like, I want to be that guy, and I think he put the work in to be.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. A deep bomb to Troy Franklin would feed families.
I'll never forget that one play. We're in the press box, and you like stood up, and you're like, oh. It was tough, but he won't. You know, he got it.
He got there.
He got it.
All right, you get another one.
Oh, I get another one. Oh, man, now I'm back to back. I was so confident in my pick, and then I didn't even think about the next one. All right.
You got to be ready to go. There's strategy involved here.
There's strategy involved here. All right, so.
Auto draft.
All right. That's basically where my mind went after this. I was like, all right, I picked a good one. I'm done. All right, I'm going to go. Ooh, this game is starting to get more fun because now I'm getting competitive in it. You picked Evan. You picked
Bo Nix.
You did pick Bo. But, like, Bo is, I feel like he should just been at the top, like as like you can't pick him because like it's Bo. It's Bo. All right. Let me see. I am gonna go with defensive guy. I'm gonna go with Talanoa Hufanga.
Oh, a good one. That would have been my next one.
You know, keeping in the theme of USC. That's a USC alumni there too. But Troy, I'm Troy. Troy is my first pick. Then Talanoa Hufanga. He's a guy that I've always watched play even when he was with the 49ers. He's just the guy that he flies out of nowhere. And like he never gives up on a play. You always see him running down the field, trying to make an impact some way, somehow. And not only his grit, not only his determination and his physical play on the field, it's also everything else he's been able to do. When he got here, Brandon Jones mentioned, like, it feels like we've known each other forever. He made it a point to be an anchor point in this defense. And when this defense is as good as it is, and you have as many playmakers as you have on this defense, for you to come in and hold your own and be named a team captain for this season, I think that shows a credit to the kind of player you are, the kind of person you are, and how much belief you have in this team to want to make it better. And knowing the stud that he can be on the field, I'm excited to see him out there especially week one. I'm like, Cam Ward, respect to you. I know you went to the U, but yeah, I'm gonna need help to make some plays on that. And I know he's excited. I know he can't wait to also play in front of this home crowd for week one, for the home opener. I think a lot of guys, it's different when you open up. I said it. It's different when you open up on the road. And I think opening up with the way that this team looks now, the energy at Empower Field at Mile High is going to be insane. And he's a guy that feeds off of that. He's a guy that feeds off of the crowd, especially when he makes a big play. And I can't wait to see him get a pick. Can't wait to see him just be a menace out there.
Yeah, he flies around. I think we've heard Sean Payton say that there's like a catch or a run, there are first responders and there's second responders in terms of who's near the ball. And whenever you watch Hufanga's tape, he's a first responder. He's there first. Mm-hmm. He's flying toward the ball. He makes that big hit. He plays with this relentlessness.
He plays so free.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see like he's like an old school type safety, and so I think to see him back there, excited to see what he's able to bring, and obviously a team captain, coming in and earning that honor so quickly speaks to what the locker room thinks of him as well. Yeah. So, that's a good choice there. Franklin and Hufanga were next on my board. I would have been happy to have them as, kind of the next selections. I should note, this is probably where I would go with Dre Greenlaw. As we're recording this, it's a Thursday morning. Dre did not practice Wednesday. And so just because we don't know what's going on with him, we're going to kind of leave him out of this exercise. It's possible he's, who knows? We just don't have enough information in terms of what's going to happen this weekend. So because he was a DNP, we're not going to draft him here. 3. Oh, please. I was sitting here for like 14 minutes waiting for you to pick Troy Franklin. I'm going to go with my guy, Marv.
Oh, yeah, he was on my list.
Junior. Marv, I think just in terms of like how fun he is to watch, that's why he makes this list.
Swiss Army knife.
And I thought he reached a different gear down the stretch. And like if Troy Franklin is the guy that could be like the make the leap candidate for the Broncos, Marv is that guy that to me feels like, hey, keep it going here. He had 2 100-yard games over the final, I believe, 5 weeks of the season, had multiple catches in each of those games down the stretch. It changed for me when they started, and I've said this like a billion times this offseason, but I think I picked Marv as my breakout player for the year. So when they started using him in the backfield and motions and catching the ball out of the backfield, or even if he wasn't getting the ball, but just drawing the defenders off him or away from where they were really going with the football, that I thought unlocked things for this offense and for him, where then you got to come down a little bit and then boom, he's racing by you. And his speed, his versatility, we've seen him take some snaps in the backfield as a running back. Like he can do all sorts of things.
Swiss Army knife, telling you.
And then you've got the punt returner, kick returner position. The way that The
bowler.
kick return rules have changed this year. Marv's going to get more opportunities, I think, and maybe he's a guy that takes a couple back for scores. Like Marv, to me, in terms of, and like you mentioned, Swiss Army knife, all the different things he's able to do makes him really exciting, I think, to watch this weekend. And that's a good.
That he was.
I like that as a third pick.
I do too, because he was actually
Marvin Mims
Jr.
Boom. Okay, fourth pick.
Mm-hmm.
Elisa.
I like that you go back to back.
Elisa. Well, you went back to back. It's a snake.
No, I know. I said I like that you go back.
I
to
thought
back.
it was like a little jab there.
No, I was saying like I like that you go back because then it like changes my strategy.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go. This is a guy that just. This guy's never been picked 7th at anything in his life. And I know we said it's not the best players.
It's not the best players. Like, we need to make that a disclaimer because I don't need people coming after us. Like, this is just who we're excited to see. Personal opinions.
Yeah. But this guy is both the best player and a guy I'm excited to see. I'm going to go with PS2. The value at 4 is too good there to pass up Pat Surtain II, the reigning defensive player of the year.
He's going to wear a nice little gold.
Yeah, a little gold emblem there as one of the award winners, the MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. All the reigning guys, the defending award winners are going to wear those. Pat's a guy like I'm excited to watch and excited to maybe see him do nothing the whole game because they might not throw at him.
Yeah.
Or, hey, maybe Cam Ward decides to take a chance, throw
out.
it at PS2.
Yeah.
And, I've got that vision of PS2 running down the sideline against the Raiders with the ball in his hands.
Iconic.
You build Defensive Player of the Year seasons. You build all-pro seasons with big plays. And obviously the advanced stats for corners are now a big part of it. And we know there was that stat last year that people, if you threw it at the ground, you were better off than
That's
if
an
you threw it at
insane
PS2.
stat.
But
Insane.
This could be a chance maybe like I think Sean Payton was talking about that Pat Surtain kind of realized how many interceptions a guy like Steve Foley has in the history of this organization and like can he work toward that? It'd be nice to see him make a big play in week 1, get the crowd going. Pat is just like every week there's a chance to see him do something special. And part of it might just be that he erases the top receiver. And so you've really got to be like, you almost look up at the end of the game and you're like, they didn't throw it. They threw it Pat one time,
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to watch him and hopefully he gets a chance to make some plays on the ball. I think that the improved, I don't know if you want to say depth, talent, whatever you want to say, in the secondary in general, Riley Moss coming back for another year.
Yeah.
You've got Jaquan McMillan and Jade Barron. You've got Talanoa Hufanga now alongside Brandon Jones. Like, you got to throw it somewhere. And so I wonder if, hey, maybe, maybe Pat gets a few more chances because it's like, well, Hufanga's lurking back there. We may need to throw one over here. So, do they just avoid Surtain completely still? Is that part of the game plan where we're not going at number 2? Or does he get a few more looks this year? Starts week 1 against a rookie quarterback. Excited to see kind of what they do. Do they test him? Do they try to go at him? Do they say, hey, we're gonna see what you got?
Test your luck.
We'll see. So, Surtain there.
That's a good pick.
Hey, you got 2 in a row to finish it up.
All right.
And then I got to figure out who I'm going to take last.
All right. The question was asked, can you be a different animal but the same beast? I got to go with Zach Allen because Zach Allen is a guy.
Zach's my guy.
Zach, he's the guy because he,
I wanted you, Zach.
But, I mean, you look at his play last year. He led the NFL in quarterback hits. He was just so disruptive. He was just a quarterback monster. Like the way that he was able to attack Josh Allen, Joe Burrows, like just these key Mahomes, these guys that are very good at escaping and finding ways to make plays. He wouldn't even give them a chance. Like he was just always up front, disruptive. And it's funny, you talk to him and he's a quiet guy, very reserved. And then you go on the field and he's just like celebrating everything that he does. And when you look at some of his numbers, I was kind of pulling up his stats here. He joined J.J. Watt, Nick Bosa, and T.J. Watt, Aaron McDonald as the only players with 40-plus QB hits in a season since the first started getting tracked in 2006. He set a career high with 67 QB pressures in 2024, leading all defensive tackles. So I think just his play, obviously a much-deserved contract extension that he got, but he's just such a focal point that even when I talk to the guys around him, they always mention like Zach is not only a leader on this team, but the way that he's able to constantly evolve his game. He mentioned it during training camp. He's talking to guys and trying out new things of how to be more disruptive, how to get an extra jump, how to find a different angle to attack. And I think when you have that mentality of like, yes, I did all these things that were amazing last year, I have to be better. And I think that was part of the quote that he said. It's the Kobe system, in case he didn't know.
Yeah, Zach is a great player, well-deserved that he got that contract extension. Excited to see him try to keep it going. And then 2025. Okay, who's your last pick?
All right, my last pick, again, last but certainly not least. I was gonna go with Casa Bonito. I was. And you know how big I am of a defense girly, but I'm gonna go with Courtland Sutton.
Ooh, okay.
That's who I'm gonna go with, and I'm gonna go with Courtland Sutton because he got his first taste of the playoffs last year. He understands the importance of starting fast. And I think with Courtland this year, everyone has talked about his unselfish play, right? There was games where he had 0 yards and didn't even matter. Then he would go off the next game, have 100 yards. He had 1,000 yards season last year, which I think is just showcasing that was with a rookie quarterback. Now you have more time with him. You're able to be there, a guy that is able to extend plays. We've talked about it a lot. Just that third down guy too. Like, you have your reliable person there. Bo Nix had once called him his security blanket because he just knows, like, for a quarterback that's learning in this league, to have a guy like Courtland Sutton be there. I'm excited to see what he does this year as he comes off of the season he had last year. I think with the matchups, with the work he's put in, with his relationship, his the energy that he kind of has built around with the young receiving core, I'm excited to see him go out there because I think now he's earned and deserves to be part of such a great team this year, knowing how long he's been here. And I think he's going into this year like, I am not taking this for granted. We need to start. We are here. We are arrived. People know we're coming, and that doesn't matter. And I think when you have a guy that's such a strong presence, similar to Bo, he's a team captain, I think, for 5th straight year, I think, for him.
Yep.
Yeah, 5th straight year being a captain. He will also have a little gold on his captain. I don't know if you knew that. It's going to be gold. His little gold.
Yeah, on his patch.
Yeah, on his patch. It's going to be gold. So, you got a gold emblem. I got a gold emblem. So I'm going to go Court.
I like it.
Court is in session.
This is tough because there's so many guys that
many.
I'm excited to see play. And, like, J.K. Dobbins, for example, is a guy that I think I thought you were going to take him.
It's like RJ.
No, I know what. You could have done double running back.
Yeah, I could.
We talked about J.K. a little bit.
That's
So I think part of the reason I'm excited to see J.K. is that, like, we haven't seen him in preseason. So what does he look like? What does he bring? Last year, he was really good in L.A., especially early in the season. So would be excited to see him play. But but not so fast, my friend. But
I like this game.
You mentioned him. Nik Bonitto.
Yeah.
After the contract extension. Yeah. And I think in particular in this game, we talked about it at the beginning, the fact that he is a potential, in my mind, defensive player of the year type candidate, playing a rookie quarterback, making his first start on the road in a really loud environment. Cam Ward is a guy that, he's talented and impressive, but from watching him a little bit in preseason, he does drop back pretty deep, which allows edge rushers to sometimes get around those tackles.
Yeah.
It seems like as we're recording this, we'll see kind of what the deal is, but I believe the Titans starting left tackle, Dan Moore, did not practice on Wednesday, so is there a backup tackle in there?
Right.
Do you move Bonitto around to kind of give him a little bit of an advantage there, an edge? We know that Cam Ward also, he'll hold on to the football a little bit. A lot of rookies tend to hold on to the ball a split second later. So this to me just feels like, is there a chance? And I think of Tennessee's defensive front, maybe the strength of their defense, maybe running the ball is a little difficult. But Nik Bonitto coming off the edge, especially if Denver can get a lead, and you're forcing a rookie quarterback to throw, and it's loud, and you can't hear, and you're maybe like, this is moving a little faster than it did in the ACC. Nik Bonitto, I think, could have a big game and make some big plays. We've shown those 2 touchdowns a lot.
Yeah, back-to-back games.
Can we add one? Maybe we'll pick it up, run it back.
I mean, we just orange around. Oh,
that
man,
would be cool.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, Nik Bonitto is going to be my final pick for a guy I cannot wait to watch this weekend. So the final teams, Elisa, you have R.J. Harvey, Troy Franklin, Talanoa Hufanga, Zach Allen, and Cortland Sutton. I have Bo Nix, Evan Ingram, Marvin Mims Jr., Pat Surtain II, and Nik Bonitto. Let us know in the comments whose team is better. So a couple of people vote for Elisa, so it's not all one-sided.
Oh, I just don't disrespect my team like that.
No.
And let's be real, I let you have Casa Bonito because I was like, you know what? Again, I'm a defensive girly, but I was like, I'm gonna go with Court.
Yeah, no, Court should be on the list. No, these are all your team is in all.
So
honesty,
if I would have picked Casa Bonito, who would you have picked?
I probably would have gone Dobbins there if you had not picked. I know what Court's going to do. Court's going to moss some dudes.
I know, but that's what I'm excited to. This is a list on what we're excited to see. Yeah, Remember that. That's a key part in the voting. Yeah. Exciting to see. Not like numbers. Excited to see.
Excited to see Bo Nix. I think
You're a believer.
I could have just picked Bo.
Just Bo all 5 picks.
Bo 5 times.
That's great. Bo as a runner. Bo as a passer.
Well, he caught a touchdown last year.
He did. He can do
a lot of things.
Wow, he's not the only Swiss Army knife on your list.
That's right. Okay. Those are our teams. Excited to see.
I like them. I like that game. We should do more games.
More games. Okay.
I liked it. Well, speaking of the game, what is your key to the game as we wrap up our preview analysis as we go into the Titans matchup, the home opener in week 1? What are your keys to the game?
Yeah, I think the main thing is, and Sean Payton has talked about this a lot, is you've got to be like the horse with blinders on and run your own race. And I think this is more about the Broncos than it is, because it sets the tone, right? And like, can you start fast and be sharp early?
Yeah.
We saw the offense in preseason maybe struggle a little bit on like opening initial drives. Can they be sharp early, not have a false start, not have a drop, like be crisp and kind of do what you want to do defensively? You've got some guys out there, Alex Singleton coming back. You've got some secondary with some new pieces that have played together a little bit, but not extensively in regular season action. You don't know quite what you're going to get from Cam Ward in this offense, right? Because there's not a ton of film on him. Can you be on the same page early and prevent those random plays that I think Vance Joseph calls them awkward plays, prevent those sorts of big chunk plays that can change the game? Because I think if you start with that focus and you have that intensity, it's really the first time you're game planning. If you have all that, I feel good about, especially at home, the team, being able to build that early lead. And then this is a Broncos team that I think is built for, if you can get a lead for this defense and this offense can, just the way that Sean Payton gets people open, you can really get things going. But I think it's got to start, and it's, people are asking guys in the locker room, like, do you want to dominate? Do you have a number of points you want to hold the Titans to? Like, I think it's become a little bit overblown, in part because Cam Ward is a rookie quarterback, in part because of the line, that like, Denver's just going to go out there and like dominate. I hope that's the case. Right. I really do. That would be fun to talk about on Monday. But every NFL game is difficult. It's week 1. You don't really know. We talked extensively about the unknowns the other day.
Yeah.
You've got to be dialed in and focused and treat this as a difficult challenge like it will be. And then have the focus for that fast start. And if you can do that and get off to that fast start, I feel good about it. But if you get locked in a game where like the Titans get some weird touchdown early and then you go 3 and out, and then, NFL, like, think back to that Colts game.
Yeah.
I think if you play that game a bunch of times, the Broncos are the better team. But if not for Jonathan Taylor dropping the ball at the goal line, you're in a tough spot there. And so games can play out all sorts of different ways. I think the focus is the most important. And then, once you're, can you get an early lead and get after Cam Ward and make him uncomfortable? I'm assuming they don't want Cam Ward to drop back and throw it 35, 40 times.
Right.
It's tough on any rookie. And it's like, that's what happened to Bo in Seattle week 1 last year, where I'm sure that's not where the Broncos wanted to be.
But you had to adjust to what the Seahawks were doing. And that's kind of what you want the Titans to do, just adjust to what that game is.
I think it's, can you be efficient early? Can you make the plays? put yourself in position to get a lead. Like the first quarter to me is like, how does this start? Can you jump out to a 7-0, 10-0 lead? And that will tilt this game in your favor.
Yeah, I think also just you mentioned it, just the patience too, right? Obviously, you don't know what's going to happen, but playing smart and cleaning up certain things. That was one thing that was a focal point in training camp too. Is just like not beating yourself and finding ways to obviously not have false starts. You mentioned that, and the patience of it. Pat Bryant talked in the locker room on Wednesday, and they asked him about the matchup, and he was just kind of like, look, I'm not going to make the mistake of thinking that there's any easy team to beat. Like, we have to, he was like, it's the NFL. Like, he's like, every week is going to be like tough. Like, everyone is going to produce, like, we're all here for a reason. We're all the best of the best. So I think, again, as confident as this team is, there is that patience of understanding, like, we have to be ready for anything. We have to be ready for any situation. As you mentioned, the Titans get a crazy lead, a turnover, whatever, being able to bounce back from those games. And defensive coordinator Vance Joseph mentioned that during the offseason. He was like, I don't mind a little adversity. I don't mind a little challenging, situations during preseason or during practice, because that's going to help you as muscle memory as you go into the season of like, wait, we've been in this situation before. Or we can go back to a shootout, on Monday night against the Browns and knowing that we came out on top. Like, that adversity is going to serve well for this team, especially as they have a home game, but then they go back-to-back on the road and then back home and then, I believe, international. Then a road game, then international. Like, they have a tough stretch of games ahead. So I think just taking care of business at home, having the patience, and getting after a rookie quarterback early is a good keys to have.
Yeah, and last year in their wins, they were good about, like, when they won games, winning by double digits, not letting it be a situation where
it really got away.
Late in the games, or like, hey, maybe you've been winning this game, but late in the game, there's still a chance for this team to come back and beat you in a game that you shouldn't lose, right? Like, where you lose when you really shouldn't lose.
Yeah.
That didn't really happen. You could point to the Chiefs one, but other than that, like, it's not like you let one slip away that you should have won. And you'd hope that with a lot of the same players, same coaching staff, that's the same this year, that, like, you keep your foot on the gas. Because I think part of it this year for the Broncos will be, like, not just winning football games, but winning football games to your standard, right? And Sean Payton has talked a lot about post games where he's like, yeah, we won, but that wasn't good enough. We're going to play better teams than that. And so, like, week in and week out, can you push yourself to try to win at that standard that a team like the Ravens or Bills wins at, like to make sure that when you get to a game against the Eagles on the road, the defending Super Bowl champions, like, you're playing at that high standard. So that'll kind of stand out to me too. You saw the team do well at that last year, but each year is a new year. You got to restart. You got to start over. And I'll be curious. I think the last thing is just kind of big picture. There's been a lot of hype around this team, and
much different than
last and Riley Moss talked about that. About, hey, last year everybody doubted us, and we were like, let's show you what we can do. This year it's way different, where it's like, hey, this could be the best defense in the league. Bo Nix could be a top 10 quarterback, et cetera, et cetera. People are picking the Broncos to go to the Super Bowl. Like, not everybody, but enough people. And so how do you handle success in the NFL as a good team is just as important as how you handle the not so good times. And so I think this weekend will be a good indication of how do you handle all these people telling you how great you are.
Well, I know you get tired of me telling you how great you are, so I'm not going to do that to close out the podcast.
It doesn't happen all that much.
Look, well, again, I think I'm really excited for week one. I'm excited that we're getting back to our preview podcast, which are fun. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. What is your team name? I know, we have our little team.
Team name?
Yeah.
For this team?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'll just go with my fantasy football team name, which is Ike's team.
Such a fantasy football name. If you're wondering who Ike is one of our talented videographers he actually helped part of, like, the edits for the Why Not Be Legendary video. That was, like, our recap of everything last season. So if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Make sure you check that out. That was Pat Surtain, who's on your team.
Ike's team.
That's Ike's team. Mine's Mamba Mentality, because I got two guys that are big Kobe fans, Zach Allen and Troy Franklin. He always has, like, the Rivers Grinches on.
That's true.
Yeah, he's a big Kobe guy. Okay. So, you know who else is a big Kobe guy? Hafunga. You know who else is? Me. And I'm also the person who's going to close out this podcast. All right, so that will do it for this edition of Altitude Advantage. Once again, I am your host and team reporter, Elisa Hernandez. Across the table, we have the team captain of Ike's team, Aric DiLalla. Make sure you get caught up on everything on DenverBroncos.com. We have you covered, and we cannot wait for week one. And again, Broncos country, we need you out there on Sunday. Kickoff is set for 2:05 Mountain Time. We need to see you Sunday, hear you Sunday, and we can't wait for week one.